You sit on the edge of your bed in outside clothes for 40 minutes because technically you were going to go out again. Your friends are posting stories from restaurants with warm lighting and suspiciously perfect skin. Your phone buzzes, come through, and suddenly your apartment feels like a medieval fortress. Your blanket feels emotionally licensed, and the idea of putting shoes back on feels as dramatic as being drafted into war. And the weird part is, you do like people. Sometimes. You laugh, you care, you can be fun, but after enough texts, noise, decisions, faces, and tiny social performances, home starts to feel less like a place and more like witness protection for your nervous system. So why do some people love staying home so much? Not in the cute, I'm such a homebody mug and candle way. I mean the kind where home feels safe, clean, quiet, understandable. The kind where canceling plans feels like your cells unclenching. The kind where being perceived by another human being sounds slightly illegal. A lot of people think this means you're lazy, antisocial, boring, or secretly becoming one with your mattress. But very often, staying home is not about hating life, it's about how your brain has learned to manage it. Your brain is not just asking, what do I want to do? It's constantly asking, what will this cost me? For some people, going out costs a little energy. For others, it costs attention, emotional monitoring, self-control, social decoding, uncertainty tolerance, sensory filtering, and recovery time. That's a huge bill for one iced coffee. Home, meanwhile, is predictable. Predictability is deeply calming to the nervous system. When you know the sounds, the lighting, the smells, where your charger is, how the bathroom lock works, and exactly which corner of the couch supports your existential collapse, your brain doesn't have to stay on high alert. It can downshift. That matters more than people realize. Your nervous system is always scanning for safety, not just danger in the dramatic sense, also friction, noise, conflict, judgment, too many options, too many little demands. If your system is already carrying stress, anxiety, burnout, or old emotional conditioning, the outside world can start to feel like a browser with 40 tabs open and one of them is playing music but you can't find which one. So staying home can become regulation. Not avoidance in the shallow, you just need discipline way people love to throw around online. Sometimes it's your body choosing the environment where it can function without doing advanced calculations every 7 seconds. Think about socializing. Even with people you like, your brain may be tracking tone, facial expressions, timing, eye contact, what to say next, whether you're talking too much, whether you're too quiet, whether that text sounded weird, whether your face accidentally looked rude for half a second. That's not being dramatic, that's cognitive load. Cognitive load is basically the amount of mental effort your brain is spending in the moment. Some nervous systems burn through that budget fast, especially if you're anxious, perfectionistic, highly sensitive, or used to monitoring other people's reactions. And perfectionism makes this worse in a very annoying way. Because then going out isn't just going out, it becomes a tiny performance review. You should be interesting enough, attractive enough, chill enough, productive enough, fun but not too much, honest but not weird, relaxed but also somehow socially excellent, casual but in a mathematically precise way. That is not just hanging out, that is unpaid labor. So, of course, home feels good. At home, the mask can loosen, you don't have to manage your face, you don't have to absorb everyone else's energy. You don't have to make 1,000 micro decisions. Your brain gets to stop auditioning. There's also dopamine, which people oversimplify a lot. Dopamine isn't just the happy chemical, it's more about motivation, anticipation, and whether something feels worth pursuing. If going out has become linked in your brain with effort, unpredictability, overstimulation, or emotional hangovers, your reward system may stop treating it like a prize. Meanwhile, home offers immediate, reliable rewards. Familiar snacks, your bed, your playlist, your show, your gaming setup, your weird little beverage rotation. Tiny comforts your brain can actually trust. That doesn't make you weak, it means your brain likes reliable rewards more than chaotic ones. Honestly, fair. And if you've been through environments where home was the only place you could finally exhale, your brain may have learned that retreat equals relief. Maybe not because something huge happened, sometimes it's 1,000 small experiences. Being judged, feeling out of place, always being on, having to read the room too carefully, growing up around tension, being overwhelmed and not really understood. That can train hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is when your system gets very good at scanning for mood shifts, for awkwardness, for social risk, for signs that something might go wrong. It's like having an overqualified security guard in your head that treats a group chat notification like a possible hostage situation. When that happens, staying home isn't random, it's strategic. Your brain has identified a lower threat environment and keeps recommending it. The problem is, sometimes that strategy becomes too successful. Because relief is powerful. When you cancel plans and instantly feel better, your brain learns fast. Excellent, we survived by not going. That's how reinforcement gets reinforced. Not because you're weak, but because the nervous system loves immediate relief. It's very, we'll deal with long-term consequences, never. So yes, for some people, staying home is both a comfort and a trap. It protects you from overload, but it can also shrink your world if fear starts making all the decisions. That's why the real question isn't, why am I like this? It's, what does being out in the world feel like inside my body? If the answer is exhausting, unsafe, overstimulating, performative, or impossible to control, then your love of staying home makes sense. It has logic, it has history, it has a nervous system behind it. And honestly, some people simply prefer quieter environments. Not everything needs to be pathologized. Some brains genuinely enjoy depth over variety, peace over buzz, one close friend over 12 chaotic acquaintances yelling over bad music in a restaurant where the menu is also somehow a personality test. You do not need to become the loudest person in the room to be healthy. You do not need to love crowds to be alive. You do not need endless plans to prove that your life is real. If home is where your brain can finally soften, that means something. If solitude helps you recover, that means something. If the world has felt too sharp for a while, and home has felt like the one place where your edges stop buzzing, that does not mean you are broken, lazy, weak, flawed, or failing. It means your system has been solving for safety the best way it knows. And once you understand that, the goal stops being to shame yourself into becoming someone else. The goal becomes building a life where safety and aliveness can exist in the same sentence. Maybe that means smaller plans, gentler exits, more recovery time, fewer performances, more honest friendships, less forcing, less pretending that draining yourself is the same thing as growth. Sometimes healing looks less like go out more and more like learn what your brain has been protecting you from. Because the person who loves staying home is not necessarily hiding from life. Sometimes they're recovering from too much of it. If this resonated with you, please subscribe. And if you've ever wondered why being around people can feel lonely while being alone feels peaceful, you'll want to watch the next video.